What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the first ever status report video. This is going to be a weekly series where I just sort of recap the progress I've made in the last week, what I have planned for the next week, and hopefully there'll be some fun stuff kind of thrown in here throughout. This exists mostly as a time capsule for me to look back on, but I figured I'd just throw it up on YouTube anyways. For anyone else who may want to get to know me or I don't know, be interested in working with me at some point, whatever. Anyways, I have some notes here. We're going to kind of run through a bunch of thoughts I have. I figured I'd use this first one as kind of a get to know me, recap my story the last kind of couple of years, and in the future episodes, it'll be more focused on like what's relevant. But let me just talk a little bit about the last couple of years of my life and where I'm headed to next, why I've made certain decisions, what I've learned, all this kind of stuff. So I'm 20 years old. My name is Jack Stevens, and I have both accomplished what feels like a lot in the last couple of years and also what feels like absolutely nothing. And when I say that, I mean I've had months where I've touched $8,000 in a single month. I've traveled to Miami like 4 times in the last year. I've been to California very recently. All these are like business filming trips with, content creators. Been to a handful of different places as well. I might have my first out of the country trip coming up in a month or two, which is very exciting. And yeah, anyways, I feel like I've learned a lot from content, but that's all it's been is content. And I've really realized in the last 4 or 5 months that I don't want to really be making content. Or I guess, not that I don't want to be making content, but I just want to be making movies. I want to be on sets. I want to be working on productions, making film projects. Yeah. You get the idea. So, learned a lot in the last couple of years. I quit my job last February, not this past one, but a year and 4 months ago. So I've been officially freelancing for the last year and 4 months. In that span of time, I have made a ton of content. I have shot a bunch of events, photography. I've done portrait work. I have done many YouTube videos, Instagram reels, like I mentioned, but also been on a bunch of sets for documentaries and commercials and very many short films. Strong handful of short films. So it's been cool. It's been kind of unremarkable. Nothing has really turned into anything. I've scrapped a bunch of projects. Or nothing to turn anything for me personally, I should say. I've worked with a couple of folks that, in particular, one individual who has made a lot of money because of the content that we made together, which is awesome. And I don't mean to take credit for it, but I was a large part of a content strategy that is now generating sometimes at least 6 figures a month, which is pretty cool. Work with a handful of guys. I advise them on their content, personal brand stuff. Got a couple of guys moving pretty good right now. And I guess I'm starting to get going on my own. So this is my first little, attempt at YouTube. Figured I'd just take my own advice that I give a lot of these guys and just talk to the camera for a little while. Yeah, learned a lot. But I have kind of stopped progressing. I got to a place in content where I was feeling kind of lost and eventually got in my own head about all of it. Wasn't really sure what I wanted. I tried a lot of stuff. Like I worked in broadcast for a couple of years at my church as well. That was the job that I quit. And then, I've started and stopped YouTube twice now. I've started and stopped Instagram once. And I've scrapped projects, like big projects, kind of infinitely postponed stuff. And at the heart of it, what I've realized is like I started all of these projects because I love movies or because I want to be making movies or as an excuse to be making movies. There was this brand I was going to try and build with someone. And I realized at the heart of it, it was like, man, what I really want to get to is just the point where I'm working on film, like productions. Like we're making ads and we're shooting marketing stuff. And like that's what was exciting about it to me. The rest of it wasn't very exciting. And it was like, oh, well, I'd kind of been blinded by like, oh, it'll be great for me to learn marketing. It'll be great for me to learn this kind of design. It'll be great for me to learn this and that. And I feel like that's kind of how it's been for every project. But at the core of it, like I just want to make cool stuff. I just want to make movies. I just want to make, I don't know. So film is the thing. I've also taken a lot of photos in the last year. I started shooting film. One of the things I want to do on this show is when I get photos back from the lab, show off some of my favorites and kind of talk about some stories from them and stuff. I think that'll be kind of fun. But what are we at right now? 6 minutes. I'm going to try and keep this under 20 minutes. Yeah, so at the core of everything, I just wanted to do film. I just wanted to make movies. I just wanted to make film projects, work with other people, collaborate on stuff. So, reason I'm starting this, I kind of mentioned at the top, but it's to kind of keep myself accountable and document this sort of thing that's happening, which is, to put it simply, me sort of going all in on film. That's what's going on. So in the first few months of the year, it took me a handful of months, but I finished my first like real solid film project, and I can even pull it up real quick. It is a documentary, sort of introductory artist documentary is what I've titled it, with my sister. We did it across the span of a handful of months, and I'm pretty happy with it overall. It came out pretty sick. So I might just let this run in the background while I talk with the audio off real quick. Boom. Shrink this down. And mute this. But at the very least, it'll kind of give a little bit of an idea of what I'm capable of, or at least what I'm trying to get better at. So yeah, I really want to work with artists. I want to work with music artists. I want to work with, designers. I want to work with other artists. That's kind of at the core of what I want out of film right now. So that's what I'm working towards. I have what's most exciting to me right now is I have a music video. I have a music video I'm working on with a buddy. I think it'll be pretty sick. We have a ton of great ideas. We're actually going to meet later today about it. But I wanted to film this first and just kind of get this done and get this thrown up on YouTube. So that's what I'm doing right now. That's rough overview of my story. Kind of gives you an idea of what all I've been up to the last couple of years. I know it was kind of scattered and erratic, but I just decided to do this in the last like half hour. And these are all the notes that I took. So that's everything. That's baseline. Now you kind of know me, know a little bit about me, know a little bit about my motivation, know a little bit about my story, where I've worked, what I've done, what I've accomplished. And really this video is like, this is what I've accomplished. That's it. Like I have a website and I have some old content stuff on there and I have photos and I have this and that, but this video that I was just showing you is my greatest accomplishment so far. And that's the simple truth of it. A lot of what I've done, I realized a couple months ago, is just, it's not contributing to my development. It's not contributing to my portfolio. And for those reasons, I did this project that I was just showing you. This is what kind of came out of that, like, shoot, I don't have anything for myself. Like I have content that I made for other people. I have content I made for myself, but it's just, it lacks something. So I want to kind of go all in on a project, spend an absurd amount of time on it, really get into the sort of gritty details of everything and take my time with something. And that's what came out of that. And I'm really happy with it as a first thing. It took longer than I expected it to, but that's okay. So let's talk about last 7 days, next 7 days. Every week I do this little journal thing. I just call it North Star Day. And I'm like, okay, what is my North Star? Which is my big picture goal. Like, what am I actively working towards? And I figured I'd just incorporate that into these videos each week, since I'm already spending the time to, write all this stuff about it. Might as well throw it up into this format. Big picture goal. I answered 3 questions in this North Star journal. What's my big picture goal? Just like remind myself. Did I move closer last week, and what did I do to move closer last week? And what am I going to do this week to move closer to that goal? Okay. And what is something that's kind of interesting is like, maybe my big picture goal isn't actually a big picture goal because I write it differently every time, which is kind of interesting. It's like when I think like, what is my big picture goal? I almost always have a different answer. So let me go back to the very start, actually. I started doing this in April, I believe. Maybe, yeah, April. Let's see. April 13th. Yeah, I think April 13th was the first day. Okay. Big picture goal, first time I wrote it. Build a portfolio that enables me to work on creative direction and film with artists. That's a great sort of log line for what I'm trying to accomplish. And I'm going about that a few different ways. Primarily, it's just with creating great work, like what I was just showing you, or hopefully great work, like just stuff that I'm really putting time and effort and thought into. Spending time on the colors, spending time, with a tripod, spending time, planning, scripting, this and this and that. Like really just practicing, flexing that muscle, I guess, is the simplest way to put it. So, second question is, did I move closer last week? And let me flip back to where, the actual last 7 days, because the stuff from 2 months ago isn't going to be relevant. But I've almost crushed this entire journal in like 2 months, which I don't know. Maybe I'm just inefficient, but I actually like the pace that I've been. Like, I don't know. I like making stuff big on the page and like take up space and I don't know. Anyways, did I move closer last week? I was on the biggest I've ever been on. I PA'd on a shoot for a big local restaurant here. I signed an NDA, so I'm not going to talk about it. I didn't really read it. Or yes, I did, but I don't remember it. So I'm just not going to talk about any details. But I was connected to a potential documentary project because of this. What I think I did with Finley, it has now demonstrated my capacity for storytelling, like my eye for this and that. And I can even pull up this email real quick that I just got today that's like, hey, let me connect you with our director. We've been looking for a camera operator. And it's pretty sick. So, all right, so check this out. Gonna loop in our director. She'll have the final say on who's after camera person. From what I've seen of his work, which means she actually looked at it, or theoretically, this is the person. So, okay, I was introduced to this person. She introduced me to this person. And then she introduced me to their director. So it's like 3 layers deep into these connections now, which is pretty sick. And sorry, from what I've seen of his work, it's really beautiful, captivating, crisp, very good eye for storytelling. Wow, that's meaningful. This person is working on this documentary. They work for a radio station, I think, or something. That's what their email's attached to anyways. I don't know if they're any good. I don't know them. But I'm getting compliments based on this. My kind of, or someone who's been somewhat of a mentor to me was like, dude, this is awesome. Like for a first thing, this is incredible. This is way better than anything else I've seen you make. It seems like I'm starting to actually feel the impact of making it too, just based on this email, which is sick. And yeah. Other things I did move closer this week, though. I met with a corporate broadcast guy here in Austin who has oh my God, he has 25 camera packages he'd just be happy to lend me or my buddies. Like, he seemed to just trust me from our initial conversation, which is why, I don't know. The whole conversation was kind of bizarre, to be honest. But it seems like a really great connection. So I might be doing some stuff for him, might be getting involved in kind of some of the corporate world. I made plans to shoot with my buddy for this music video. We're going to shoot this week, just get started. And then I finished up some more work I've been doing for an influencer that I think is going to be a really great connection. And he's just a really great guy, and I'm super excited to work with him in general. So he's also got a pretty big page. So it's exciting to get on board with his stuff. But not film, but yes, content, yes, potential to make money, which is really important because basically everything that I have that makes me money right now is not furthering me towards my future. And in theory, if working with this guy can, then I'll be making money that will be furthering me towards my future and be developing me in some way or another, or at least getting me connections. So that being said, what am I going to do this week to move closer to my goal? Start shooting this music video. I already mentioned that, but I'm going to start with the personal brand stuff, which is exactly what this YouTube video is. And I'm going to start truly planning my project for next month, which I'm really excited about because it could get me kind of a foot in the door with some artists I really look up to because of a project that they're working on. And you might have read it when I was flipping through here when I showed it on the screen slightly, but I'm not going to say anything about that for now, but I'm very, very excited about that. So that's the last 7 days, next 7 days. Anyways, that's what I got going on. Little kind of touch point for myself. I'm sure no one's going to watch this. No one's going to care. Maybe a couple of my friends. Maybe this gives you a little bit of insight into what I've been doing for the last year. You know, I've grown a YouTube channel for someone else to 20K. Same for his Instagram. He's touched 6 figures. Done a ton of photography. Worked on a ton of short films. Worked on blah, 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 blah. But none of it matters. And that's crazy. And that's what I realized recently is like 99% of this is not actually making me the person I want to be. And I want to be the best. So now it's about taking all these notes and this sort of outpouring of my mind, putting it on the internet, and beginning to document this journey to actually become something, right? What I've realized is like, you know, maybe people at like a lower mid-level see me and they see me as talented, see me as skilled, they see me as tasteful, like this email is kind of demonstrated, but talent is baseline. Talent is step one. And, you know, I live in a big city. You could throw a rock and hit a talented person. And that's just kind of reality. It's not enough. So I've been able to really kind of understand now the person I want to become, the things I want to achieve, where I want to go, what I want to be doing. And with those in mind, all that's left is to fill the gap between the person I am now and the person I want to become. So that's what I'm doing as much as I can in the ways that I know how to, which is just to try to create more work, begin to sort of document it on the internet, even if it just serves as a personal diary for myself and no one else cares. That's totally fine. But that's what's up. So I hope you got something out of this. I'd be surprised if anybody did. Another couple notes for myself, I guess. I just started going to the gym. What else have I just started doing? I'm correcting my sleep schedule, so I'm going to start getting up early every morning because I've really defined, like, I want to be the best. And so I need to start acting like I want to be the best because I want to be the best. I'm going to. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take some luck too, I'm sure. But hopefully, by putting myself out there on here and on Instagram in the coming weeks, that's another thing is in the next 7 days I want to start Instagram stuff. We'll see. So a lot of it might not go up until around the time that this music video stuff is coming out. But I need to start making things, like several Instagram videos a week. Just sort of externalize myself. I guess let me talk about the strategy a little bit, which is to make great work, spend a lot of time on calculated projects, and then through Instagram and YouTube, mostly Instagram, YouTube is just a bonus. Through Instagram, I'm going to be externalizing that work. And Instagram will be a way for people to run into me online and also get to know me through the kind of Reels page. That's the idea. And then if anybody wants to get to know me even better, YouTube exists, and it'll be linked in my bio. It'll be on my website or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's the idea. Hopefully, through just creating great stuff, continuing to push for connections, and externalizing that work through social media, I'll be able to kind of accelerate and snowball some momentum and get to work with some cool people. So anyways, got a couple extra cool things lined up in the coming months between that trip out of the country. There's a concert I'm going to shoot with my favorite artist that I've got a photo pass for, doing this music video, and then big project next month that I'm very excited about. Like, it's under my skin. I'm so excited about it. I think about it constantly. Even while I'm thinking about this music video, like, I'm thinking about it. So yeah. Anyways, I will talk to you guys next time, next week, next Monday. I don't know. Maybe next Sunday. Maybe I'll do it on Sundays. That probably makes the most sense. But that's the first one. Just got to get the first thing out. That's the biggest piece of any puzzle, is finding the corners, right? And then you can build the rest of the outline. Then fill in the gaps. Wow, on the spot metaphor. That's what I'm doing right now. You're witnessing it. All right, peace.